Please like, share, and subscribe, and turn on the notifications. It really does make a difference to keep this channel going. Thank you. Congress UFO hearings cover-up, based on a true story. What if I told you the inner private technology corporations have been hiding advanced technology that could change everything we know about our world? In this video, we'll explore the shocking testimony of Alex Blackwood, a former decorated Navy SEAL and intelligence officer turned whistleblower. From classified emails to bizarre phenomena, Alex's journey into the unknown will challenge our very beliefs about what lurks in the nighttime skies. The following is based on revelations by inside sources in the summer of 2023 during an open Congress UFO hearing. Names and story details have been added or changed to remain within censorship guidelines. Alex Blackwood's heart raced as he opened the mysterious email that appeared in his inbox. The subject line read, "Classified, UAP Intel, Urgent." His cursor hovered over the attachment, hesitating for a moment before clicking. As the document loaded, Alex's eyes widened. Detailed reports, grainy photos, and small lists of high-ranking military and tech firm names with location coordinates filled his screen. This was no hoax. For hours, Alex pored over the information, his mind reeling. The email vanished as suddenly as it appeared, leaving him with more questions than answers. He paced his living room, debating his next move. If this is real, people need to know, he muttered. But is it worth it? Over the next few days, strange things started happening around Alex's home. He'd wake up to find his front door unlocked, though he was sure he had locked it. Objects would seem slightly out of place, as if someone had been rummaging through his belongings. The hairs on the back of his neck stood up whenever he stepped outside, feeling unseen eyes watching his every move. Shadowy windowless vans seen far off in the distance with men in black in the background made him question his own sanity. One afternoon, while checking his mailbox, Alex noticed an odd glint in the trees across the street. Squinting, he made out the shape of a small black camera, its lens pointed directly at his house. His stomach dropped. This was no paranoid delusion. He was under surveillance. Determined to understand what he was up against, Alex began researching past whistleblowers who had come forward with classified information. The stories he uncovered were chilling. Careers ruined, reputations destroyed, and in some cases, mysterious accidents that were never fully explained. The message was clear. Speaking out came with serious consequences. Despite the mounting evidence that he should walk away, Alex couldn't shake the feeling that he had stumbled onto something bigger than himself. "I can't just ignore this," he said aloud, his voice echoing in the empty room. "The American public have a right to know. I have a right to know." With trembling hands, Alex reached out to a contact he discovered during his research, a former intelligence officer who claimed to have information about government cover-ups, maybe the one who sent the original email. After several tense exchanges and careful vetting, Alex was invited to a secure meeting location. As he approached the nondescript warehouse on the outskirts of Washington, D.C., Alex's heart pounded in his chest. He knocked on the heavy metal door, praying he hadn't made a terrible mistake. The door cracked open, revealing a group of middle-aged men with hardened expressions and lifeless eyes. "Welcome, Mr. Blackwood," a gruff voice said. "We were hoping you'd come. We want to tell you more about what we've been involved in for a long time." Alex stepped inside, the door closing behind him with a final sounding thud. Little did he know, he was about to embark on a journey that would challenge everything that he thought he knew about his government and his place in it. As the heavy doors sealed shut, Alex felt a chill run down his spine. The air in the warehouse seemed to crackle with electric tension. "Mr. Blackwood," the gruff voice continued, "what we're about to show you will make you question what you've been fed for the past 2 decades of your career. We only ask you to consider the evidence. What you do with it is up to you." Alex nodded, his throat suddenly dry. The group led him to a table covered in documents, photographs, and what looked like pieces of strange metallic material. One of the men, a high-ranking Air Force colonel whom Alex recognized, began to speak. For decades, operatives in private tech firms have been running a secret program to retrieve and study non-human technology. We're talking about crashed UFOs, and not just the ships. We've recovered bodies. At first, in the 1940s and 50s, operations were controlled by certain military higher-ups, but over time, this was overshadowed by private research companies, who he contracted the research to. Alex's mind reeled as he examined the evidence before him, photographs of disc-shaped objects, half buried in desert sand, autopsy reports of beings that were clearly not of this earth. His hand shook as he picked up a piece of metal that seemed to hum with an otherworldly energy. "This can't be real," Alex muttered, but deep down he knew it was. The colonel continued, outlining a timeline of UFO retrievals dating back to the 1930s. Each incident was meticulously documented, with eyewitness accounts and classified reports, with military names he recognized that had been hidden from the American public for years. As Alex struggled to process the information, another member of the group, a scientist, chimed in. "The real challenge has been back-engineering this technology. We're dealing with materials and energy sources that defy our current understanding of physics. It's like giving a smartphone to a caveman. We can see what it does, apply it in some cases, even to spacecraft. But we have only a partial understanding of it. But with quantum computing and AI, that's changing fast." Implications of what Alex was learning began to sink in. If this technology could be fully understood and harnessed, it could revolutionize every aspect of human life. Energy, transportation, production, medicine, nothing would be the same. They could control it all. "But why keep it a secret?" Alex asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The colonel's face darkened. "Power, Mr. Blackwood. Private tech firms have gained control of higher officials through monetary incentive and blackmail. Those in control believe that releasing this information would alter their research and control of the technology. They want it for themselves. And then there are other concerns." "What do you mean?" Alex pressed. The group exchanged uneasy glances. Finally, the scientist spoke up. "There's evidence to suggest that we're being manipulated to study the technology. The original owners have taken an interest in our progress. We think they're manipulating the private firms who control it. They're not interested in what's the best interest for us. They're a cold lot. We don't know what they are." "What do you mean? They're ET, right? There's bodies." One of the scientists scoffed. "That's what we thought at first. The bodies were some sort of clone, and they decayed faster than we could examine them. The ones behind the bodies, behind the tech, are some sort of interdimensional beings. Hard to tell. Evil sons of bitches. Incredible power. The gods of old have returned, Mr. Blackwood." Alex's blood ran cold. The idea that interdimensional beings might somehow be creating the appearance of ET was almost too much to comprehend. As he tried to wrap his head around the new revelation, the colonel placed a hand on his shoulder. "Mr. Blackwood, what we've shown you is just the tip of the iceberg, and they're not going to stop. The question is, what are you going to do with this information? We know you proved your resourcefulness in those other scandals, but this is at a whole new level. I'm not going to be able to sell the interdimensional being explanation. I know that's for sure." "We know that, Mr. Blackwood," smiled the colonel. "We're just asking you to do what you can." Alex looked around the room, meeting the eyes of each person present. Suddenly they appeared more human, some of them with almost tears in their eyes. The weight of the decision before him was immense. Should he go public with what he had learned, risking everything, or should he keep the secret to himself? Whatever he decided, the world as he knew it would never be the same. Several days later, he received a call on the burner phone they'd given him. "We've heard you decided to testify in front of Congress. Good. But those in the know will do anything to keep you quiet. It's the last time we'll be talking to you on this phone. Burn it." He had expected pushback, but this was beyond his worst nightmares. How far would his opponents go to cover their own secrets? Then came the accidents. First, it was with Sarah, his wife. Her car brakes failing on a busy highway. She escaped with minor injuries, but the mechanic found clear signs of tampering. A week later, Alex's brother narrowly avoided a gas leak in his home. The accidents were too close to home, too calculated to be coincidence. It was during this low point that Alex received an unexpected message. A young intern from a senator's office reached out, claiming to have overheard conversations about a coordinated effort to discredit him. "They're planning to leak your medical records," the intern whispered during a clandestine meeting. "They want to paint you as unstable, unreliable." As the day of the hearing approached, Alex made a chilling discovery. He managed to trace the source of the threats and accidents to a shadowy group within the Senate and Air Force itself. These weren't just overzealous bureaucrats trying to protect classified information. These were senators and military men with a vested interest in keeping the truth about non-human technology hidden. All these officials were heavily invested in private research and tech firms, some having almost complete ownership. As dawn broke on the day of the hearing, Alex steeled himself for the fight ahead, sending out counter-threats to those officials through his various channels. The committee room fell silent as Alex took his seat at the witness table. He could feel the weight of dozens of eyes on him, some skeptical, others just curious. "Mr. Blackwood," the committee chair began, "you've made some extraordinary claims about government secrecy and unidentified aerial phenomena. What evidence do you have to support the allegations?" Alex took a deep breath. "Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm here today because I believe the American people deserve the truth. I'm here because my family and my loved ones were threatened and deserve better. For decades, sections of our government and private corporations have been hiding advanced technology that could revolutionize our understanding of physics and engineering." He opened his briefcase, pulling out a stack of documents and photographs. As he began to present his evidence, murmurs rippled throughout the room. Alex described in detail the recovered alien spacecraft, the biological entities, and the secret programs dedicated to reverse engineering this technology. Some committee members exchanged skeptical glances, while others leaned forward, clearly intrigued. As Alex continued, he could see the doubt in their eyes slowly giving way to shock and disbelief. "Mr. Blackwood," a stern-faced senator interrupted, "these are serious accusations. How can we be sure you're not simply seeking attention or financial gain?" Alex met the senator's gaze. "Sir, I understand your skepticism, but I assure you I have nothing to gain and everything to lose by coming forward. I face threats, surveillance, and attempts to discredit me. I'm not backing down." He went on to describe injuries sustained by colleagues working on reverse engineering projects, hinting at the dangers associated with the classified technology. The room grew tense as the implication of his words sank in. As the questioning continued, Alex could sense a shift in the atmosphere. The initial skepticism was giving way to a mix of fascination and concern. Some seemed too concerned. As the hearing progressed, Alex hinted at even more explosive revelations to come, but threatened that those whom he spoke with would always keep some evidence removed, to be exposed only if Alex's life or those whom he loved were threatened. "What I've shared today is just the beginning," he said, his voice steady. "There's so much more that the public needs to know about with our involvement in private tech firms that operate with immunity." The chair called for a recess, but it was clear that the conversation was far from over. The aftermath of Alex's testimony sent shockwaves around America. News outlets buzzed with headlines about government secrets and alien technology. Social media exploded with theories, fake news, and debates. Alex found himself at the center of it all. Interviews, talk shows, podcasts. Everyone wanted to hear his story. New whistleblowers were called forward to support Alex, inspired by his bravery. But slowly they were scared off due to several of these new revealers' untimely accidental deaths. The UAP Congress Committee later simply declared behind closed doors that they were aware of Alex's claims. The media never questioned them further.